Shout out to all of the beautiful minds and kind hearts, those who are dealing with mental health illnesses, or as we like to say, mental health superpowers. So I'll ask you later on, what is your mental superpower? A synopsis of the content that we're going to review. The significance of a whole body preventative maintenance practice, i.e. mental health, physical, environmental, economical, and spiritual wellness. Mental health myths, feelings of depression and feeling blue, suicidal thoughts versus actual suicide. There's a difference. Developments in law and research, yoga for trauma survivors, PTSD, PTSS, and BBAS, and we'll go over those acronyms as we get further into the text. So what is yoga for PTSS? Well, as Joy Deere says, PTSS is adaptive survival behaviors in African communities in the diaspora. Post-traumatic slave survivor. We could not move forward until we faced the truth of American and British ugly history of how racism unfolded and was being perpetuated by pretending that everything was okay. Asking for a world of peace with no justice or dedicated space for healing was unfair and impossible when you consider the similarities of survivors of PTSD and battered woman syndrome. BBAS, battered Black American syndrome, delayed the emancipation from slavery, mental slavery, because society kept abusing African Americans and the diaspora, and then dangling carrots in their faces like equal rights, affirmative action, a black president, stimulus checks, Black Lives Matter protesting, and all these different brainwashing techniques to brainwash black people, making them believe they were not good enough, were not enough. And yeah, equal on paper, but we still mistreat you when no one is watching, hide your history from you, and keep you from uniting with your tribes. Similar to the battered woman syndrome, when battered women are kept from family so the narcissist can have complete control. You must stop asking people of color to not see or accept themselves by typically saying, I don't see color, or not seeing their diversity so that white people can feel comfortable. You must have these uncomfortable conversations, show remorse, and active change. Something that was mentioned before in a Yoga Alliance presentation about are you an ally or a comrade? Meaning, a comrade fights alongside you. So, and an ally supports you. So which one are you? The decades of residual impacts of generations of slavery were already destined to end, but we must make amends and take time for healing on behalf of our ancestors and those who suffer from white guilt and shame. Coexisting means respecting each other, accepting each other, and appreciating our diversity. Pretending everything is okay prevents our ability to coexist and only creates more wars on the inside. Conflict of coexisting, meaning that you hold how you are feeling inside to appease white Americans or the British so that you can live in peace. You're really just causing a conflict inside yourself. It's called conflict avoidance, which leads to emotional wars. Mental and emotional pain is less dramatic than physical pain, but it is more common and also more harder to bear. 450 million people are suffering from neurological disorders. Out of those 450 million people that are suffering from neurological disorders, imagine that being coupled with internal hatred from the aftermath of slavery and the ongoing abuse because of the color of your skin, and then history being intentionally hidden to diminish self-worth. America and its allies asked for a war they would not be able to win because the battle is within. 300 million people are affected by depression. 60 million people are affected by bipolar symptoms. It's to nurture that beautiful mind. So what is your mental superpower? Have you thought of it yet? Mental health myths. People with mental health issues are violent, or people taking pills cures the mental health problems, or recovering from a mental illness is impossible. Mental health superpowers. Being able to take care of your body, setting boundaries, valuing yourself, celebrating small victories, practicing forgiveness, excessive expressive gratitude. These are all things that you have to be able to do to overcome the battle of mental depression, or those things that come along with the symptoms of being bipolar or having ADHD or different learning disabilities. Your superpower is being able to use your brain, use your mind to overcome those things, and use your mind to do something great instead of being defeated by your differences. So what is it like to have either a mental disorder, or if you just think differently than the norm, that means you are unique. So what is it like? Oh, that pattern, look, it looks like a dog. Not being able to control what you concentrate on is not a mental illness. It takes practice, meditation techniques, and training to train your brain to focus on one thing at a time, because your brain has so much information and it just needs help to put it in compartments and organize your thoughts. So, but what do people assume when you can't concentrate? That you're purposefully not concentrating, or you're purposefully not focusing, or you're purposefully not understanding. No, it's just that some people learn differently than others. Be patient. Be patient with yourself. Because feelings of depression versus feelings of being sad or feeling blue, they are different. So you need to know, are you feeling sad, blue, or are you having symptoms of depression? And how do you know? Or how do you know if someone that you are living with, or a friend, or someone you're working with, a coworker, how can you help them know the difference? It takes being able to boost your energy and motivation, be hopeful, and increase your activities. You can recover with psychotherapy, alternative medicines like art, music, drum, travel therapy, naturopath therapy, acupuncture. There are all type of holistic alternatives than medication. Lifestyle changes. Perhaps something that you're eating is not good for your body makeup or your DNA. For example, if you have an iron deficiency, then you may not be getting enough oxygen to the brain. You have to know the anatomy of the brain and all that. I don't want to get into that right now. But if you're not getting enough oxygen to the brain, then certainly you are going to have issues or problems thinking or focusing or concentrating. There are antidepressant medications that you can take, but those are only temporary solutions. So we still need to figure out what is the actual root of what is causing you to be depressed. And then, like I said, lifestyle changes. So maybe knowing you can go, when you go to a naturopath doctor, they will do blood sample testing on you to see if you're vitamin deficient. And then that might just require you taking vitamins or eating more of one thing than less of another thing. Thought versus self-harm and suicide. There is a difference. Are you just thinking about how you just don't like it on earth and it's boring, or it's too hard, or these are all normal thoughts. People think like this all the time. I just want this to be over with. I'm done. That's understandable. But you keep going. You find the willpower to keep going. You find the will. And then, do you actually self-harm? Like, some people pick at their skin or use objects to cut themselves. Some people say that they do it to feel pain, to feel alive. Those are times where you should start seeking help or talk to someone about what you are feeling, what you are thinking, and see if it's something serious that you can get attention. Suicide, like, the most dangerous and risk that you really need to pay attention to is, have you ever planned to how you would end your life, or how you would commit suicide, what weapon you would use, where you would do it? This is really serious. If you've gone that far into the process, then you really need to seek guidance, friendship, pastor, counselor, whoever you can talk to talk you through your thoughts and why you are feeling this way. You are not alone. You are never, ever alone. Even if it feels that way, it's not true. Walk outside. There's somebody out there that you can talk to that'll guide you to somebody else, but you're never alone. Why do people harm themselves? It's usually just not feeling like they fit in here, not like they don't belong here, or like they're not good enough. All these things are what we discuss in PTSS training, and all the different things that America has done to people of color, or the British have done to people of color, made them feel their self-worth is they're just not valuable, or made them feel like they don't belong. And all those things go into a constant perpetuating of symptoms associated with depression. Just not feeling like you belong, not feeling like you constantly have to fight to be accepted. Yeah, those things can really break on your psyche if you don't learn to overcome them. Helping people who self-harm. Well, don't be judgmental. If you know someone who does self-harm, avoid being judgmental. Encourage them to get help. Reassure them that you care, and keep harmful objects away from them. These are like really, really short and simple, cut and dry answers, but you really have to seek counseling or a professional to get into the depths of how to get help with self-harm or suicidal thoughts. I encourage you that a lot of Black people will not get counseling or talk therapy because it's considered a sign of weakness, or it's frowned upon in the Black community. But a lot of the way that our ancestors and the way we interacted was oral. So the talking is a huge part of who we are. Talking out our emotions, talking out our feelings, even if it's just in music, you're still communicating. Even if it's in humming and singing, you're still communicating. It doesn't necessarily have to be talking the words of what you are thinking. You can write those down. But singing or dancing or some type of way to express what you are feeling on the inside, those are all ways that our ancestors taught us to deal with our battles. How to get help. Talk to a doctor willing to find the root as opposed to covering up the problem with a Band-Aid called medicine. Join a support group, or have at least 5 people you can call on the spot. Like, ask around, like, listen, I'm going through some things. Like, I really need to be able to reach out to someone if I have a breakdown. Can I contact you? I'm pretty sure the person's going to say, sure, please, yes, do. And then they're probably going to ask you even more, like, what's going on? And that's your opportunity to let that thing out. Don't hold it in. You can contact these people when your brain just needs help refocusing. Like, maybe you're just having a peculiar thought that you need to help process it. They're like, does this make sense? And in another video, I'll talk about the 3 C's to catch it, check it, and change it. Your thoughts that come up that are negative, as soon as it comes in, you need to catch it and check it. Like, is it true, or am I making this up, or is it all in my head? Let me ask someone. That's where your 5 people come into good use. Like, hey, I'm having this thought. Like, do you remember when this happened? Or, that you can check with someone to see, are you making this up, or is this all in your head? Like when you have thoughts like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I really am a failure, or something like that, you need to have somebody in your corner, in your circle, to remind you of all the dope stuff that you have done, so that you don't focus on the negative things and you raise up and come out of that negative thinking. Seek more mental health information. Take the time to study and know your whole self, past, present, future goals, environments that are more suitable for your unique thought process, etc. Like what works best for you. Mental health assessment components. So if you go to a doctor, here's what you can expect. If you go to a psychiatrist or you go to a physician, they're going to take a physical exam. They should do lab work to test your vitamin deficiency. Thank you. Yes, so physical exam, laboratory testing that would test for vitamin deficiency, like I was saying about not getting enough oxygen to the brain because you're not getting enough iron intake, which could be because you're not taking in enough vitamin C to help with the absorbing of iron. Yeah, all of that, you need to know that about yourself. Mental evaluation, cognitive evaluation. And these are some development. And the evaluations are not to suggest or compare you to anyone else, just yourself. What is standard for yourself that is out of the norm? Because we all have different genetics, different DNA makeup, different ways that we think. So the way that I normally think will not be the same thinking process as someone else, but that doesn't mean that this person is suffering from a mental disorder because they don't think like me. But if you notice that your thinking has changed or has gotten darker or like more negative or saddened, or you're not wanting to go out, or you're not doing the things that you used to do, they don't make you happy anymore, or you're unable to focus. There are so many different things that show, hey, I'm different. I'm acting different. I'm sleeping all day. Someone needs to notice this about you. And if they don't, and you don't notice it about yourself, then if you notice it about yourself or someone else notices it, then you should seek help. If you notice this about someone else, that they're sleeping all day, and they don't typically sleep all day, and they no longer want to do the things that they enjoy, and it's time for you to start asking questions. Developments in law and research. 1996 Mental Health Parity Act. 2010 Affordable Care Act. 2011 Study on Effective Treatment Delivery Models. 2012 45 years of research on meditation techniques. If you have anything to add to this, please do. These are just some short tips that there's not enough data on Africans, but there's a great book called Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome that has this woman has been collecting data for the past 15 years and doing research, and she's a very good resource. Mental Health Awareness Day. Take time to spend time with your children or your little ones if you have one. I love this quote. It taught me a lot when my daughter was younger. When the milk is splattered all over the floor and those little eyes are looking at you for your reaction, remember what really matters is it takes 5 minutes to clean up spilled milk. It takes much longer to clean up a broken heart. And that is what that quote means. Don't cry over spilled milk. Like, why are you yelling at your child because they spilled milk? It will end up breaking their spirit later. So is it necessary? Be kind and patient with those who have beautiful minds. They are not crazy. They are not dangerous. They are not bad. They think beyond Western medicine comprehension. And you shouldn't fear what you don't understand. So help spread mental health awareness by joining us on our shore tour. You can join for performances, or I hope to see you soon. Take care of yourselves. Peace.
We all hurt sometimes. When everything it's alright, we all stand up so right. We all hurt sometimes. When everything it's alright, we all stand up so right. We lift our glasses and say, our tears and pain, far away, far away. Far away, far away. Tears and pain, far away, far away. Tears and pain, far away, far away. Tears and pain, far away, far away. Cheers to the wishes we hid when everyone was so free, and our tears were weakness. Gone are the days. Gone are the days, gone are the days. Our tears were weakness, but I stand to say, our tears and pain are gone far away, far away. And I stand to say, our tears and pain are gone far away, far away. Tears and pain, 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 far away, far away. We got to stand tall and lift our voice. Our ancestral lineage always speaks for us. My brothers and sisters, Umoja. Oh, oh, oh.
Did you know that 1 in 3 women are raped in the military? And unfortunately, these women are retaliated against after their sexual assault is reported. If you or anyone you know is dealing with rape or harassment, please call 1-800-799-7223 or visit www.servicewomen.org. Our women are our leaders, not our victims. Please let your voice be heard. Make sure you click the link in the bio and tune in to be featuring Erica to learn more about sexual harassment and her story.